Boys and girls, this is the Undisputed Era. Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong, and you're listening to Going In Raw, baby.
Hey guys, this is Charlotte, and you're watching Going In Raw. Going In Raw. That sounds terrible.
What's up, it's your girl Sasha Banks, Legit Boss, and you are watching Going In Raw. You like that?
Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson, and available wherever podcasts can be found. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and the notify bell next to it to make sure you're always getting your new Going In Raw notifications. We're also available on the Patreon at patreon.com/Steve and Larson. We have a variety of reward tiers there. We are, let's see, it's the 29th, 30th. We're 1 day away. One day away.
There's 31 days in
Is
March.
it 31?
Yeah,
okay.
31 days
we're
in March.
2 days away from the end of the month, which means you have 2 days left to get your $20 pledge in. If you want that Friendo Care package to ship out sometime in the month of April, it includes a comic book with a story that could only be told in the pages of a comic book. My imagination is far too fertile to put this in the world of it's computer graphics.
Oh no, I don't.
Cinema.
I don't trust computers to handle
Filmmaking.
this type of stuff, man. It's not capable of handling it.
There's also 3 stickers, a postcard, and a double-sided poster. It's all good stuff, and it can be yours for $20 on the Patreon at patreon.com/Steve and Larson.
Just one $20.
Just once, and then if you don't, and then you don't have to put in anymore. You can get rid of it, and then and then at $5 you get a bonus show almost every single day of the week.
Weekday,
Monday through Friday.
Yeah,
so
or at least 5 of them a week.
Yeah,
you get 5 of them a week.
You get 5 a week. Sometimes we put the final one on Saturday. Sometimes on Friday.
There's 5 a week.
There's 5 a week. That was the TV over there.
Oh.
Anyways.
Anywho, it's Friday.
Yep.
Oof. I'm getting ready for Mania next week.
I know. I'm trying.
Long week.
We got a massive crate of Red Bulls
help
today.
Do you put any of them in the fridge yet?
No, not yet. I'm sorry. I didn't know. I'm sorry. I decided to make them look good by standing them up over
it
there.
looks great and all, but
yeah, the magnitude of it.
It'd look better if they were colder.
That's true. That's true. We have no ice here.
Well, but we do have a refrigerator.
We do have a fridge, yeah. So, in the world of wrestling, like you just said, Mania is coming up a week from Sunday. And we will be doing our live stream reactions to TakeOver Friday night. And then we're going to rest up on Saturday. And then Mania, like virtually all day Sunday, Mania. We're going to be doing our live stream reactions to that. So come join us. It's right here at the channel. And, of course, the main event, the announced main event of that match, the triple threat match, Ronda Rousey, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte Flair, the new SmackDown Women's Champion. We got a little bit. Dave Meltzer might have an additional take on that.
Let's flesh this out a little bit before we get into what old Dave has to say here. So, following Charlotte's surprise win of the SmackDown Women's Championship on Tuesday, a lot of buzz generated. Not all of it positive. A lot of people very upset about it. I thought it was pretty cool. You came around to it eventually. I mean, really, the only issue is that Asuka had to lose the title. That's really the only issue.
I think I have 2 issues. Number one, that it was decided day of. I really wish that this is, look, months ago you knew you were going to go into this as a triple threat match. You should have probably decided on if the SmackDown title was going to be carried in there as well. Although I guess they couldn't have predicted that there was nobody. We predicted on the TLC recap show that there was no other competitor for Asuka. Maybe they thought that in the interim they could build up Mandy Rose to be that person that wouldn't land that SmackDown title.
The whole idea that they plan anything in advance, I've kind of given up on that notion entirely.
Well, that's what I'm talking about, though. That's why I'm reluctant to be like, oh, this is a great idea. I don't like that it seemed very last minute. They slap a title on Charlotte Flair to sort of justify her being in that match. So that was my main. That and plus it just feels like it's a complete disregard for Asuka. But
that's really the only issue I have for it.
Yeah,
with it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so instantly people thought Charlotte's got title. This must be some sort of unification type deal for the women's championship. Maybe but it's all unclear. We'll expect to find out Monday or Tuesday next week. Dave here. Maybe Belcher could take over for you and call him Dave here.
Dave here.
And Larson.
Would you want to co-host with Dave?
Don't think so.
I think I like you better than his current co-host.
Why, thank you. It sucks.
It sucks.
This is what old Dave had to say. Quote, I guess they're tossing around the idea of a tagline of winner take all. But when he describes what winner take all would entail, it's not winner take all. Quote, what winner take all, the theme we've heard from a few people as a probable tagline entails is not clear, although it will be finalized on Raw April 1st. Hey, that's April Fool's Day in Washington, D.C. The plan is not to unify or merge the championships, at least long term. When I tell you what winner take all means, what do you think that means?
Merging the championships. Somebody gets both the titles.
Yeah.
Both titles are on the line.
Winner takes all means whoever wins the match gets everything.
In one sentence, number one, a tagline should have been established months ago.
You got to give them the idea.
After the Rumble.
You got
to
give
away.
Up on the idea of WWE does any sort of long-term plan. Just give up.
Hold on.
Extinguish your mind of the thought.
When did we find out that this was, or when did we really understand? When was the writing on the wall this is going to be a triple threat? Months ago. They couldn't have come up with, even if the SmackDown title wasn't going to be in, they couldn't have come up with a tagline then?
Dude, you're getting way too much credit.
It's a week away.
It is always, he continues, it is always possible that could change by Monday. Of course it could. But we're told that it's very unlikely as they do want each brand to have a separate champion. They don't call it winner take all. Obviously, this decision comes down to whether this will be Rousey's last match promotion for now. If Rousey finishes at Mania, the date that was the plan as her tentative final date for the last few months in the scenario makes the most sense would be Lynch over Rousey. Yeah. If Rousey is staying longer, then Lynch can beat Flair, and they could do Lynch versus Rousey later, since it only makes sense for Rousey to lose once in her final match for now, and for Lynch to be the one who beats her. I mean, that all makes sense. The math there makes sense. But if you're going to call something winner take all, that means if you win match, you get everything.
Okay.
Because he lays out a scenario where and he kind of talks about it here. So Rousey leaves, Lynch beats Rousey, she is Raw Women's Champion.
Yeah.
If Rousey beats Flair, she has both titles. If Flair beats Rousey, she has both titles. If Lynch beats Flair, she is SmackDown Women's Champion. That would be the various angles going into the match.
Whoever eats the pin, if they're carrying something into it, they lose that.
Yeah.
That's not really winner takes all.
No.
Yeah.
No, not at all. Winner takes all. You pin whomever, you get everything.
Yeah. Okay.
That's winner take all. Anything else is not winner take all.
Okay, so I'm glad you just laid that out as him having laid that out with some explanation. I didn't notice it here in the notes.
I didn't put it in there.
Okay, so I'm glad you did that because otherwise I was confused. It's still a betrayal of the actual term winner take all. However, maybe there's just a distinct understanding that winner can't be all because winner has to be on a brand.
Yeah.
Even though I understand that Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair have been on both brands for a little while now. I get that.
Yeah. Well, it's all in the service of building up this match.
Yeah. I mean, I was going to say it would be something like, Becky would say all as in women's division all. Whoever wins this match is master of division.
Yeah, I guess so.
But the Raw Women's Championship, because Raw is the A title, that's what all is. That's stupid also.
That is. That's prioritizing or setting a hierarchy for what the top title is.
But that's all I had. But I guess your scenario, Dave, the other scenario, winner takes all. There are two titles. All is both titles.
Yeah, I know.
So don't call it that. You're a week away. You don't need a tagline. It's the main event. You don't need a tagline.
They like taglines over there, though. They like taglines. I'll tell you, man.
Rousey's leaving. There's no way this is going to be the last match, and Becky Lynch isn't going to win this thing.
All right, here we go. The newsletter also adds, quote, the plan is also to come out of this match with a clear direction for next year's WrestleMania.
Well, I think this is sort of in the ilk of if that aspect of it is true, maybe they're really, really happy with the build and the heat behind this, and so they're like, maybe this women's division, this is a long shot, But maybe this women's division that they have going, Becky's the hottest thing. Vince is apparently really, really into Becky right now. Maybe they understand that this is going to be what their planned A story is, similar to what Roman Reigns, how he was the planned A story for in perpetuity. Maybe they think, hey, this is where the money is right now.
Or, sorry, I'll continue this sentence here. Whether that means Rousey returns for a singles match with Lynch or Flair versus Lynch. Let me ask you this. So when Becky turned heel on Charlotte at SummerSlam, it was because Becky had Carmella and then disarm her. Charlotte comes in, hits Becky with natural selection, pins her, wins the championship.
Yeah.
So Becky, kind of rightly, thought, first you come in and take my one-on-one title opportunity, and then on top of that, you come in here, I'm on the verge of victory, and you hit me with a finisher and pin me to steal a title that I thought I was going to get. Let's go to Mania. What if Charlotte has Ronda in the figure eight? Charlotte had Ronda in the figure eight. Yeah, sorry.
Becky comes in.
Slaps disarm her on Charlotte. Charlotte taps. Just as she thought, no, sorry. You have to switch that around. Anyways, essentially Becky denies Charlotte her victory because Ronda has to be the one that taps to disarm her. Oh, God. No, they can't do that. I was trying to think if there's a way where both of them could get Ronda in their respective submissions and have Ronda tap. But it's not possible because she'd have to reverse the pressure on the figure eight to take the disarm her. Because when Becky does disarm her, Becky does a disarm her.
You have to be on your stomach
for the disarm her. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
So it wouldn't work.
Yeah, that wouldn't work.
Anyways, Becky somehow denies Charlotte her chance of victory.
That would be a fun sight to see Ronda reverse the figure eight, the figure four. And then she goes into the disarmer. That'd be kind of a fun visual to see.
Yeah, and has to tap.
No, I wouldn't. Yeah. I mean,
maybe the figure eight is locked in. Becky rolls them over, slaps on disarmer.
She manually reverses the pressure.
So Charlotte can't do anything because the pressure's on her now.
And now she feels the pain because the pressure is reversed.
Yes.
First it goes this way, then it goes that way.
Yeah, if you reverse.
If you reverse it.
So anyways, that way you get Becky winning. You can still have the moment where all four horsewomen are maybe there in the ring, but then it also sets up a story down the line.
How easy is it for somebody? I mean, I guess it wouldn't. Yeah, I guess it'd be fairly easy. That'd be a fun visual too. Watch somebody manually reverse a figure four.
Yeah,
that'd be a fun visual.
Yeah,
that'd be good.
It'd be cool if we just called the finish of the match right there. Huh?
Don't tell anybody. We want to see this happen. If they find out, we know. Yeah, no, that's a good one.
Anyways, let's talk about Ronda taking credit for everything on this road vlog on her YouTube channel. Was it On the Road with Ronda?
On the Road with Ronda. Yeah, she has Raw recaps on that website of hers, RondaRousey.com, and she also has really bad merch.
Yeah, the merch is not good.
Is that merch still there? I want to go to that website now.
All right, go ahead. I'll read this quote from Cage Side Seats, the transcript of she's talking about the Mania match main eventing. That's what she had to say.
Oh, they have an NXT recap too.
Who writes this stuff? Does she?
Kyle Fowl.
So it's just on her website.
It's on RondaRousey.com.
That's interesting.
Man, yeah, look at that. Who writes up the Ronda on the Road Raw Boston, SmackDown?
Oh, Ronda on the Road is what it's called.
And then Kimberly Schuler wrote the SmackDown recap.
Yeah.
And then let's see here. We have some Ronda Rousey news about Joan
Ronda
Jett.
Rousey related wrestling news.
Yeah.
Ronda Rousey wrestling news.
I don't know how to get to this stuff over here. Oh.
Oh, it tracks with you.
There's no bar to scroll over.
That seems like poor design.
I wonder if
hit that
Raw
hit that,
results.
Hit that. There's a little triangle look like a play
LaToya
button.
Ferguson.
Hit that right there.
What's this do?
There you go.
Oh, okay.
Shit, that was right on your screen there.
Raw to beat the clock. You got to be the man. You got to beat the man. LaToya Ferguson also. So they have at least 3 writers working for them.
Anyways, that's what Ron had to say about main eventing Mania. Quote, on one hand, I'm like so happy for all the progress we made and like this is some real lifetime legacy shit, you know? This is like real effect that you're having on society and mankind. That's awesome, but then it's really cool to see people like so pissed off that thought I would fail miserably and see that within 1 year we're the main event of WrestleMania, and you know what? I could promise you that Charlotte versus Becky 9,000. Oh, because like the 9,000th time they fought.
Was she doing this again while having people like make her up?
I think so.
I think so, yeah.
Wouldn't have made the main event at WrestleMania. They need me, and I made it happen. And all these people can like bitch and moan and complain otherwise, but you know what? Somewhere there's an alternate universe. Hey, alternate universe stuff. You like that? Where I didn't do the WWE, and those bees aren't main eventing WrestleMania this year. Why did she say effing verb?
Yeah, I don't know. I was wondering about that too. I wonder what that means.
She asking for some reverb on her mic or something?
Well, she's just sitting on a couch.
I don't know what else. I don't know. Is this like a Kevin Nash reference? Look at the adjective, play.
Well, that's what I thought.
We can't turn the audio on because we're going to get it. We'll check it out later.
Relax. It's not on the desktop here. I was going to put it on low. These are not very sensitive.
Oh, my gosh. We'll watch it later.
Well, I want to know what the effing verb part means.
Oh, my goodness. Wait. Well, stick your ear right up to the microphone or
but I hear
speaker.
Your voice a lot right now. Well, that's not part of the quote.
That's not part of the quote.
So it's somewhere else.
Yes.
Effing verb. I don't know what that means. Effing verb. I really want to know what that means now. Anyways, well, we don't know.
Main eventing. I mean, she's talking about music. I don't know. We'll watch it later.
She said something.
We'll watch it later.
Okay, we'll move on then.
Well, that's it. I mean, that's all we got left to talk. I mean, that's the quote. Yeah. Does she deserve all the credit for them main eventing WrestleMania?
Well, let's explore her alternate universe. Is the alternate universe scenario she's laying out, yay or nay? I think that there is a case could be made that it is that it would have happened with the women anyways. There's nothing. Becky is the hottest thing right now.
Correct.
She is the hottest thing, not Ronda. And granted, I know that Ronda, according to Dave, in some respects, apparently he says yes, and sometimes he says no. Apparently, but Ronda is a big mainstream star.
Yeah,
and she moves the needle with ratings. But
like I think there's two different ways to approach it. Could a well-built Becky versus Charlotte match main event WrestleMania? Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think that they want that. I think that they ever since, with Evolution, this is the year, or Evolution was last
2018,
year.
yes.
Yeah. But within the last 12 months, we've seen Evolution. We've seen them, whenever they bring up, whenever Saudi Arabia is brought up, they will say, we're trying to get to the point. I think they are actively trying to get to the point where they can have women perform in Saudi Arabia. Mm-hmm. They want these things. They want to say, hey, I mean, anybody who's been paying any attention can see with the Mae Young Classic and stuff, hey, we're trying to make history with the women's stuff. And one of the biggest questions has been, can women main event WrestleMania? And I think that, like, nobody anticipated this Kofi stuff happening. And I think if Kofi wins, which I think he will, the WWE will see that as, hey, we can say that, the first, and I know, dude, here's the thing. I know we got a lot of comments about, well, The Rock is half African-American. Doesn't that count kind of thing. There are so many different schools of thought on that. From what I have seen, the general consensus is, for whatever reason, like it or not, no. Apparently, I have nothing to say about that beyond that's just what I see out there. And so this idea that Kofi can be the first African American to hold the WWE Championship doesn't need to main event, because that in itself is a big enough moment for them to go ahead and show. And so why not? They could have easily built Becky versus Charlotte, even if it was a half-ass build, into the main event of WrestleMania.
Oh, they could have.
I think they would have.
They could have.
I definitely think they would have.
What pushes, which makes it what makes it an absolute no-brainer, I think, in this year at least, probably in Vince's mind for sure, is the added potential eyeballs because Ronda Rousey is the mainstream star. Mm-hmm. I think the case could be made regardless for Becky versus Charlotte, again, especially if it was a really well told. And so far, they've done a really good job with their creative across the board.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
I mean, and I hesitate to say what we got here right now with Becky and Charlotte is akin to what The Rock and Stone Cold did over the course of, 4 years? Mm-hmm. But it's not that far off right now.
Yeah.
Of rivalry, a feud that could carry on for a while, take a breather. You can always go back to it. There's always fuel there to work with. It's all in that feud between Becky and Charlotte, and they're so darn good that they could find new ways to explore the tension between them, without a doubt. I mean, you could easily build up that feud to main event Mania. You toss Ronda Rousey in there, the mainstream exposure she'll bring. It just makes sense to say that Ronda solely made it happen. I don't think it is accurate, because we've seen over the last 4 or 5 years, women's wrestling and WWE gain a lot of momentum, improve a great deal with an added focus on concentrating on the action in the ring.
Yeah.
And I think the quality of the wrestling is spectacular. I mean, it's a situation where, could they main event it without Ronda? Yeah. You add Ronda to it, it's basically a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I think probably Ronda's presence there, just probably in Vince's mind, push it over the edge.
Yeah.
Because even they just announced this week that the women's match was going to main event, and I'm guessing, because based on everything I read, it seemed like Vince was waffling between Universal title women's match, Universal title women match, and whether he just had this revelation on his own or someone got in his ear, it's like, Ronda Rousey's arguably our most crossover mainstream star. It makes all the sense in the world to have this main event.
I would be surprised. It'll be interesting to see if his where he was leaning ever comes out. I would suspect that it was probably, unless the Universal title usurped somehow, if the heat on that became so huge with Brock not even being around, then it was the women's match. It was that match's to lose the spot. You know what I mean? They would have had to really bungled it. People would have had to have started tuning out in droves during those segments for him to consider the Universal title scene. I would suspect that, because it was obvious to everybody that this was the thing. And I just imagine that he was probably waiting until more or less the last moment to confirm that, yeah, this is what we're going to do. Yeah. But I really doubt that anything else would have even been under consideration except for the Universal title, and that would have there had to have been a huge swing of momentum and interest in that. Yeah. And it was kind of obvious that there wouldn't have. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Kevin, what is that Kevin Eck bit right there?
Oh, he put on, Kevin Eck used to be a member of WWE Creative. He tweeted, for any pro wrestling fans who are anti-Rousey but pro-women's evolution, I hope they understand that a women's match would never be main eventing WrestleMania without Ronda Rousey's involvement. I mean, that is no disrespect to Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch.
I mean, that's simply wrong. I get that he used to be a writer, and that's great, but that if you Vince goes with the big, he wants to make history. And having a legitimate feud that has a lot of heat behind it, and you get a history-making match, that's silly to say that it couldn't have been Charlotte and Becky Lynch. And that's the bottom line. Like, I didn't have to work for the WWE to know that. Yeah. So, anyways.
Or maybe, there's another way maybe to interpret it. Maybe in that, and maybe this is giving him a lot of credit. Maybe having worked there, He sees a situation and thinks, oh, maybe Vince wouldn't have seen the value in simply Becky versus Charlotte main eventing the show, but you add Becky or Ronda to it, and then Vince then sees the value of it.
That could be. I mean,
I would disagree with Vince in that point, because I think like Becky versus Charlotte totally could main event just the two of them.
I mean, if he thinks that maybe the idea, to sort of further try to see where he's coming from, if the idea is Becky would never have been so big had it not been for Ronda's presence as a counterpoint to that. But you had Charlotte. You saw the reaction. You and I both saw the reaction of Becky turning on Charlotte. That alone right there was the perfect seeds for a Mania main event. Yep. And I say that understanding that this year, especially now, I will say this: if Roman hadn't had his battle with leukemia, and they wanted to continue to push that streak of his main event in WrestleMania, at that point, I'm like, okay, yeah, then it's up in the air. But
then also, too, if as rumored, his feud was going to be against Dean, and Dean's heel turn, fell as flat as what it did regardless, that feud would not have had a whole lot of steam behind it.
If that was hot, if somehow they pulled off a perfectly executed Dean heel turn, and there was so much heat behind that match, then sure. I mean, I guess that would have made sense because they love Roman, obviously, and they probably wanted...
They want the Universal title to be seen as the top prize in the entire company.
And they probably wanted that big streak to be going down, or to happen. So, I mean, I can... Look, are there situations where Ronda was out of the situation and Becky and Charlotte wouldn't have main evented? Sure. However... all things being the way they are right now, if you just simply take Ronda out of the equation, absolutely, I think she would have. If you'd get on YouTube and see all the numbers that sort of kind of can indicate some interest in segments that go down, and if the women's division segments are getting $1 million, $2 million, $3 million every single week, and the other ones are getting 500,000,
yeah, you see where the interest lies.
You can see where the interest is, and that's what's going to main event.
Totally.
So, anyways.
Anyways, before we continue, sorry to take a breather there. Here's a word from our sponsor for today's show, Robinhood.
Robinhood is an investing app that lets you buy and sell stocks, ETFs, options, and cryptos, all commission-free.
While other brokerages charge up to $10 for every trade, Robinhood doesn't charge any commission fees, so you can trade stocks and keep all your profits. Plus, there's no account minimum deposit needed to get started, so you can start investing at any level.
The simple, intuitive design of Robinhood makes investing easy for newcomers and experts alike. View easy-to-understand charts and market data and place a trade in just 4 taps on your smartphone. You can also view stock collections, such as 100 most popular.
With Robinhood, you can learn how to invest in the market as you build your portfolio, discover new stocks, track your favorite companies, and get custom notifications for price movements so you never miss the right moment to invest.
Robinhood is giving listeners of Going In Raw a free stock like Apple, Ford, or Sprint to help you build your portfolio. Sign up at goinginraw.robinhood.com, and thanks to Robinhood for sponsoring Going In Raw. If you heard me stumble a little bit, I was opening up my Robinhood app.
Oh, how's it going over there?
I have it right here. I have made money.
You're down a little bit from the other day, though.
Well, here's the thing. I haven't actively... I am very keen to do more research. It's something that I've always really wanted to do, is just look more into the stock market.
Yes.
And do a little bit of investing. And so I'm up a little bit. I'm down a little bit from the other day.
But up overall, yes.
Up overall. I need to look into hot
turn
stocks.
that into like 100 times that.
I know, exactly. Yeah. I want to be one of those guys like, wow, that guy's... And then, I can get out of this pro wrestling industry racket
and become next Warren Buffett.
Don't worry, I will hire you an expert co-host. Basically, anybody that isn't me would be better.
Probably.
Yeah.
Speaking of people going to greener pastures potentially, Steve, are you sad about this? Rob Gronkowski is done with his football career, as announced on Monday via his social media.
Doesn't matter. Patriots are a machine. They pluck him out, plop somebody in.
Well, they won't be such a machine once Tom Brady has to retire.
Pluck him out, put somebody. Well, the big key is Belichick. Can he continue to find human souls to feast upon and continue to live, whatever? I don't know.
Thrive?
To thrive, to whatever.
I don't know what you're talking about, man.
I feel like he's that guy. He goes around. He goes in the middle of the night. He's like, "Bring me souls," and then they pray.
So he's a vampire, kind of.
Yeah, kind of. It keeps him alive.
All right.
And sharp.
Okay.
That guy's crazy.
Anyways, what are the odds that Rob Gronkowski...
I think he hangs out with Robert Kraft a lot.
I don't know.
Going on
Belichick
errands,
doesn't seem like a social individual.
Going on errands for certain things.
No, he doesn't do errands, man.
You know what kind of errands?
I know exactly what you're talking about. In Florida. Anyways,
Gronkowski.
Could he soon be a WWE superstar? Of course, he was involved in the Andre Battle Royal WrestleMania 33 somewhat.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Helped his friend Mojo Rawley pick up the win. Anyways, Vegas apparently has odds of what Gronk is going to do next in his post-NFL career. And right now, becoming a WWE superstar is tops.
Wow.
At plus 150, which is 3-2 odds. Top auction.
Male stripper is at 5,000 to
plus
1.
5,000.
Plus 5,000.
So it's like 500 to 1, yeah.
So where is male escort?
It wasn't on the list.
Didn't Buff Bagwell do that?
Yeah. He was a gigolo.
the odds were much greater that he would land there
Than Gronk?
than Gronk.
Other things on there was podcast host.
Hey, Buff still looks really good, though.
He does.
He still looks really good.
Podcast host, sports broadcaster.
I hope he made some old ladies very happy. You know?
Buff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because look, escort doesn't mean you're doing, the dirty. That just means providing company.
Was he a male escort or was he a gigolo?
I thought you aren't you only legally allowed to be a male escort?
I guess you're right about that.
I think that a gigolo is when you're doing things,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
That only happens in the movies, not in real life.
Yeah. That Richard Gere movie.
The one where he plays a gigolo from America.
From America. What's that one called?
American Gigolo.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, man.
I didn't get afternoon coffee today. And I'm feeling it, Steve.
I know we only have 4 cases of Red Bull in there.
Well, they're not cold.
I know, we need them cold.
Anyways, WWE has definitely been doing their part to build some anticipation for Gronk's inevitable WWE debut. Gronk's friendo Mojo Rawley said to TMZ, quote, "Wouldn't shock me one bit if Gronk showed up in WWE." And then WWE's community relations Twitter posted a picture from the USO Awards dinner this Tuesday that was attended by WWE superstars Braun Strowman, of course, Mojo, Mickie James, and Rob Gronkowski, who was a recipient of an award that night. And to the USO's tweet about the event, Steph tweeted, quote, "Congratulations, Rob Gronkowski. This is a tremendous honor by one of my favorite organizations, USO Metro DC, dedicated to serve those who serve and their families. Thank you for all that you do, and good luck with your retirement. Doors are always open at WWE."
I'm not into it, man.
Heck yeah, man. Bring Gronk in.
I'm not into it. Here's the only...
New hype bros, Mojo and Gronk.
Yeah, I would be okay with that. I'm tired of these celebs coming in.
Hold on. Rob Gronkowski is just no meager celebrity, Steve. He is Gronk.
He's just Mojo, but without professional wrestling experience. That's all he is. They're the same person.
They're different people, Steve.
They're literally the same person.
Here, let's test that theory. Let's do one of those Mojo mirror promos instead of having Mojo in the mirror. It's Gronk.
Yeah.
And you'll see they're different.
Well, Gronk is just happier than Mojo.
Yeah.
Gronk would be.
Because he's got like $60 million sitting in the bank.
Well, that's who'd be super happy is Mojo if Gronk came in.
Oh, heck yeah.
Because wouldn't they push him alongside?
Yeah.
I would think.
Yeah.
There's a connection there, or maybe not. They're going in this weird, angry, introspective. Yeah, introspective, inner-looking Mojo.
Mm-hmm.
No, man, look. Gronk was great because he was on my team, and he would score points, and nobody could stop that dude. He was amazing on the field.
Hey, do you
But
know how
that's
many?
where it ends.
Do you know how many touchdowns he averaged during his career?
Oh, per season?
No, per game.
Per game? 2.5.
0.69.
That's right.
Bleacher Report tweeted that out.
Okay. That's good.
Nice.
That's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
That's hilarious.
So we'll see if he manages to show up at some point in Mania weekend or sometime in the near future. I'm sure dude wants to take some time off, rest his body.
Well,
he got beat up a lot in the NFL. He had a lot of surgeries.
I would really doubt that he would be into what Ronda's into, a full-time schedule, you know?
Yeah, no.
I doubt that it would be that kind of thing. So show up for the Andre thing, fight with Leo Rush or Jinder. See, that's what I'd like to see. Mania next year, a special attraction match, Gronk versus Leo Rush.
Or versus Jinder Mahal. They have history.
I don't want to see Jinder wrestle. Show me Leo. Leo Rush would be great. Him and Gronk. Or Lashley and Gronk. Mm-hmm. Lashley could be a special attraction guy. I wouldn't mind that. You're sort of goofing. It's just a big goof. I'm with Marcel Bartel, man. I only want serious business in the ring.
I agree with that.
None of this tomfoolery celebrity
Unless
business.
Gronk's in there.
Not into it.
Should be. Something the WWE's not into is all sorts of indie shows going on Mania weekend.
Okay, what is this all about? This is... Does
this make you angry?
So, I'm about to read and find out. Because I had seen one little bit about this on Twitter, and I'm curious about it. From Wrestling Observer Newsletter. Regarding next year's WrestleMania, WWE is trying to lock up Tampa and St. Petersburg to keep the independent shows out of the city, with WWE running the Amalie Arena. Is that how you pronounce it?
I have no idea.
The other area arena is the 10,500-seat Yuengling Center on the campus. Yuengling Center on the campus of University of South Florida. The Vinnick Enterprises runs both that building and the Amalie Arena, so that could be locked out. Meltzer also mentions that there are other smaller venues in the vicinity of Tampa, with the largest having capacity around 4,000, except it's 35 miles away in Lakeland. He also adds that this isn't the first time WWE has attempted to lock the Indies out of Mania weekend, saying they tried that in San Jose, but the fairgrounds booked a ton of shows, but most other buildings like the old Civic Auditorium wouldn't allow anyone in, which is why Ring of Honor had to run in Redwood City.
Which is on like a 30 minutes north of San Jose.
Now, if this was, and it's still BS, if this was WWE's trying to prevent a G1 special in Madison Square Garden type thing from happening, I kind of get that. If they want the marquee moment Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday, obviously, if they want that to themselves, I kind of understand it. I know that they tried to keep G1 special out of Madison Square Garden. We heard that. But WrestleMania weekend is including WrestleCon. It's an entire celebration of wrestling. WWE should respect that kind of shit and let whoever run wherever they want to run and just take care of yourself. You know what I mean?
Well, that isn't their philosophy. Their new idea of how to drive out global competition is to set up NXT territories in those territories and make deals with local promotions to buy them out if they want to and close them. Yeah. They're just trying a different approach on a global scale of forcing companies out of business, essentially. They're taking the cream of the crop, most talented wrestlers in the general territory, signing them to exclusive deals so they can't work in said territory, and forcing those smaller promotions to develop their own talent, which isn't impossible. It's a cyclical thing, but it's a different approach than what Vince did in the territory days, which is just throw a bunch of money around and buy them up and sign all their top talent. This is a slightly more subtle way of kind of nudging them out of business. This, not that it's the right thing to do, because it sucks for the local promotions. It's lame. I don't like to see it. A thriving independent scene helps everybody. That's my attitude. But given how WWE is conducting themselves business-wise, this doesn't surprise me in the least. And maybe one of the reasons, because like you go to New York, there's hundreds of venues can have wrestling shows. There's no way you can squeeze whoever owns the arenas. But if you go to some place like Tampa, potentially, it's a fairly large metropolitan area. But in comparison to New York or seemingly Orlando, even there's maybe fewer places you can actually hold wrestling shows. Even though when we went to the Progress show in Orlando, it was like in a glorified gym. Mm-hmm. It was not an arena. Yeah. It was at like a sports complex somewhere that they set up for wrestling shows. Mm-hmm. So I'm guessing what Meltzer's referring to more or less is Ring of Honor, is New Japan, is the larger indie companies. Keep them from running shows in the direct area because of the G1 situation. Yeah. They don't want that. But it depends a lot of it what's in the Tampa area. Is there a space for people to run a 500-seat show?
I remember the most fun I had when we went 2 years ago was all the independent shows that we went to. We went to WCPW, went to Progress. Mm-hmm. Didn't we take in one more, or was that it? We did NXT and we did Mania. And then we sat at our Airbnb and watched the Hall of Fame. Boy, that was fun. That was a fun time. We should do that again. We should do Tampa.
Well, there's no indie shows, and why do we want to do that?
I can't believe there are how many shows. Like, I forget how many that Cody Miles had on his Discord predictions.
There was, I don't know.
I think it was like 20 or something. Yeah. But you were saying, when you look, you were like, oh man, that's a fraction. There was like 60 running or 80 last year, whatever it is. And I love that. You should. Everybody's coming together because of your big ass show. Yeah,
to celebrate sports entertainment, if you want to call it that. I know it's a festival atmosphere. It is an atmosphere I would like to hope that WWE would cultivate But I guess they're only interested in cultivating it for their own ends. Because you look at how they're doing Access now. It's not just a bunch of random exhibition matches. Their theme. We'll get to that in a little bit. And maybe if they're going to start taking on the idea of let's run Access like these series of indie shows that will happen at one venue throughout the entire day to kind of steal some of their thunder. Let's have Mania happen in cities that don't necessarily have the capacity for us, but not everybody.
Well, okay. Are we getting to the point where 10 years from now, there's going to be 80 shows, all WWE shows running in the Mania location?
10 years, they might have enough talent signed to do that,
right? I mean, it's like, oh, which Mania shows are we going to go to? We're going to go to, Access. We're going to go to, Access.
Worlds
UK.
Collide, UK versus Latin America.
Yeah. I mean, all stuff that they either own or co-promote with, like Evolve, stuff like that. That's going to be the only ones.
And I wonder, this is nearing conspiracy talk, but the idea that they would start to select Mania locations with that in mind, areas that can accommodate us, what we want to do, but can't accommodate necessarily everybody,
Yeah.
Which would be a bummer. But, I guess if you're like a mid-major size metropolitan area, like Tampa probably is, it would give one hope that, maybe we can get a WrestleMania now.
Yeah.
I mean, Sacramento can't. We don't have a stadium large enough to accommodate.
No, we don't.
But then if they're going to go to L.A. when their football stadium's done.
Yeah, they wouldn't be able to book out all of L.A. No. That's impossible. Bar Wrestling's going to have a thing. PWG's going to have a thing.
I mean, like, they have WWE has a stranglehold on Staples, is my understanding. They have, like, an exclusive deal with them, but not the sports arena.
Right. Yeah.
So if New Japan or Ring of Honor or both of them want to do another G1 Supercard at Sports Arena.
Well, then
Or the Forum. The Forum's right down the road from the new football stadium in L.A.
Let me ask you this then. Would this philosophy of Mania weekend as our weekend exclusively, would that then dictate what markets they run Mania in?
That's what I'm saying.
Would it preclude them from going to L.A.?
That'd be foolish for them to take that philosophy, because L.A. is a huge market, huge.
Yeah,
and then it kind of seems like you're really limiting yourself to a select number of cities that meet a very strict criteria. So you're telling me
places with not too many venues.
I know. So you're telling me every 5 to 10 years you're not going to run the New York area?
Like, I don't know what where there was the rumor they were going to go to Minneapolis, right? I'm not sure. Is Minneapolis bigger or smaller than Sacramento?
It's probably larger.
Okay.
Or the metropolitan area might be at the same size.
So I could see that as being a place where there's not a ton of venues.
There would be, so they'd probably have Mania at the football stadium. They'd have NXT, Raw, and SmackDown at Target Center. And I think the Timberwolves used to play at a building prior to the Target Center. I don't know if it's still open. You got the University of Minnesota there that probably has their own venue. But then if it's a situation like in Tampa where one company owns.
Usually they announce where next year's Tampa. Okay.
And the year after that might be LA probably 2022 at the soonest.
But then they announced Tampa like
a month ago or 2 or 3 weeks ago. Yeah.
So we'll find out in a year.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Like, I'd really hope they would not use this very strict criteria to pick where Manias are going to be held, because this is really going to limit their options.
And it's just silly.
It is silly.
It's absolutely silly.
It's best to cultivate an atmosphere that wrestling, the more wrestling is better for all of wrestling.
No, man. WWE is wrestling.
No, it's
WWE
not.
is wrestling.
You may try to think it is, but it's not.
It really is.
It is wrestling, all elite wrestling. That's real wrestling. And according to Pro Wrestling Sheet,
could be it is? It's this, right? Three fingers?
Yeah. The elite. The elite. According to Pro Wrestling Sheet, there could be a new signee to All Elite, because Goldust, his deal with WWE has expired. He's currently waiting out his 90-day no-compete clause. You were saying in a recent episode of Road to Double or Nothing, there might have been an allusion to Goldust saying...
Cody was on the phone with his seamstress. He was looking at his Double or Nothing outfit, and the lady on the phone said, "Should we stray away from gold?" And he said, "No, I think we're good with what we got." And then the episode ended. So maybe, obviously, I don't think Dustin Rhodes, whatever, I don't think he could take Gold Dust to Double or Nothing.
Unless he owns a trademark to it.
You think he does?
I don't, but I'm just saying that's
surprising.
Yeah, it'd be really surprising.
Unless he just wanted to do. I mean, obviously that could just be for story, saying, "Hey, here's a hint."
Yeah.
But that'd be cool.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Because I know Cody wanted that match when he was still in WWE.
Yeah,
and they said
should have been a Mania match.
Yep, they said no.
Gee whiz, you make a guy freaking put on a poor man's version of his brother's gimmick. He runs with it, does everything he can with it, and then what? You say no.
It's like we won't give you what you really want.
You guys get one match on SmackDown or whatever. Raw probably.
They did get a tag title run. That was pretty cool. Remember when they were
That
involved?
was awesome. I know.
They were involved in the whole Authority storyline for a brief minute.
People would have popped for a match between those two.
Mm-hmm.
They would have loved it.
Yep.
But no, you got to do things your way.
Yeah, no. Let's talk about Worlds Collide. We alluded to it earlier, and that's what's essentially calling Access during Mania weekend, or the wrestling component of Access. So I guess it's going from Thursday, April 4th, all the way to Monday, the 8th. In Brooklyn. They released the schedule. Here's some of the shows. You got NXT versus NXT Alumni. Matches announced are Roderick Strong versus Tyler Breeze. That should be good. Ooh, Top Notch versus Harper. That'll be good.
Oh, that'll be good.
Sanity versus Undisputed Era. And Cassius Ohno versus Aiden English.
All right, let's do predictions. Roderick Strong versus Tyler Breeze.
Strong.
Roderick Strong.
Dijakovic.
Roderick Strong wins. Dijakovic wins.
You did that wrong.
I did that wrong. There we go. Sanity versus
Undisputed Era wins. Cassius Ohno wins.
Cassius Ohno versus Aiden English. Cassius Ohno wins.
Next, we have Cruiserweights collide.
Not even.
Tyler Bate versus Brian Kendrick. Tyler Bate wins. Akira Tozawa versus Jordan Devlin. Irish Ace goes over.
Jordan Devlin goes over.
Flash Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews versus Arya Daivari and Mike Kanellis. I'm going with Daivari and Kanellis.
Yeah. I'm going to go with them too.
And then,
although good to see that Mark Andrews has been cleared.
Yeah, that's true.
Because they wouldn't have done this if he wasn't cleared. So that's cool.
Oh, then we have ACH versus Grand Metalik versus Ligero.
Oh, that's going to be a killer match.
ACH. I'll go with ACH.
I'm gonna go with Ligero.
All right.
I'm just gonna put this in bold for whatever reason.
Yeah, that's fine. Then there's 3 sessions of NXT UK tapings, and there's something called a Brands Battle. 2 20 superstar battle royals, 1 men, 1 women. Both battle royals will feature superstars from NXT and NXT UK, and the men's battle royal will feature additional superstars from 205 Live. And then finally on Monday, Women Collide. Matches announced for that are Io Shirai versus Sonya Deville.
I'm going to give it to Io Shirai.
Yeah. This one's going to be a heck of a match.
Oh, man.
Toni Storm versus Nicky Cross versus Bianca Belair.
I'd love to say Nicky Cross. I feel they want to give Bianca Belair a win.
No, I think it's going to be Toni Storm.
In front of people.
Piper Niven versus Zelina Vega. Piper goes over.
Oh, yeah. See, that's why Toni Storm's not going to win.
Candice LeRae versus Kaylee Ray.
Oh, man.
Probably Kaylee Ray.
Yeah, probably.
So that's a lot of wrestling.
Sonya Deville's got to win that match then. They can't have everybody. She's the only person from main roster. Nicky Cross, but come on now. Nobody from main roster is going to win in the women's divisions?
Well, Io Shirai being this match more or less makes me feel like she's not going to be NXT Women's Champion. And then Bianca Belair's in the other one, so she probably isn't either.
So they're going to just keep the title on Shayna.
Or Kyrie's going to get back. Yeah, Shayna's probably going to retain.
Shayna's probably going to retain. I kind of figure that. Who's going to come out of the 20-man Battle Royal NXT UK 205 Live? Tony. Wait, no. He's fighting at Mania.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. Humberto Carrillo. Oh, look, you rolled the L. Good job.
R.
And then who's coming out from the 20-woman Battle Royal from NXT and NXT UK? It can't be Toni Storm. Oh, I know who it is.
Rhea Ripley.
Ginny.
Rhea Ripley.
Okay, Rhea Ripley.
We don't have to have the same pick.
Well, I don't want to write both our names,
All
so
right, fine.
I'm just going to acquiesce. Let's do questions.
Questions.
Time for Questions.
Questions.
You have questions? I have questions.
We both have questions.
We both have.
Liam Wagner, why is TakeOver New York not called TakeOver Brooklyn 5? It's being held in the same venue as the other TakeOver Brooklyn pay-per-views. I don't know.
TakeOver to Brooklyn.
I don't know. It would make all the sense in the world.
Because it's not in the same place.
It is in the same place.
I mean, it's not. It's because they already had one.
It's irrelevant.
At SummerSlam.
It's irrelevant.
Oscar Silva. What will AEW's ratings look like?
Hold on. Because I think they had NXT TakeOver Chicago. They've had 2 of them, and they weren't in the same general time frame.
What will the ratings for All Elite Wrestling look like? I will say they'll pull in around. Their first episode will do 750,000, and then it'll fall to.
There's a month difference.
500,000.
They'll do way better than Impact, but not nearly as good as WWE. Eamon, are people?
Well, that's a big window. That's a big gap. You gotta be specific.
I am specific. Somewhere between 2.5 million and 100,000. Eamon, are people overreacting to what happened to Asuka on SmackDown, or do WWE have a problem with making stars?
I don't think they're overreacting.
Well, I think it's WWE does have a problem making stars.
Yeah.
Are people overreacting? No, that's their opinion.
They really love Asuka.
Yeah, that's their opinion.
They love her. I love her. Let's see here. What Mike Adams? What is the biggest potential swerve at Mania? He thinks it's Big E turning on Kofi after Kofi
It'd
wins.
be a huge swerve, but I don't see New Day breaking up.
What will be the biggest? What is the biggest potential swerve?
I mean, since I don't see New Day breaking up, if they teased it or any sort of
realistically, that's not going to happen.
No.
Realistically, what's the biggest potential swerve? I wonder if it's AJ going heel. AJ becoming vicious and scary and heelish on Randy Orton. A double turn there.
I'd be hard-pressed to believe that's going to happen. Justin Warren, can we get GIR math on Jake Roberts? I don't believe we've done Jake yet.
Jake.
In the ring. He was a good wrestler. I mean, hell, for that blindfold match, he should get at least a 7.
Being good is, in ring is 7.
Promo, at least a 9.
His promo's a 9 for sure.
Look.
Oh, it's Slavin as hell.
He's looked like a dude, but he had great looking ring gear.
Yeah, I mean, he had a snake, but that's all scary. He gets a 5 for look.
5 for look.
Come on now.
Legacy.
So
he has one of the most iconic finishers ever.
People love him, but he was also kind of a scumbag.
He was.
Like, you have to. He's the kind. I'll put it this way. He's the kind of guy who you can give him a 10 for the good and like a 1 for the bad. So he's like a 5 legacy because he had a lot of good and he had a lot of bad.
Mm-hmm. Kayfabe, he never won anything like title-wise in WWE.
He was never IC champ?
Don't think so. If he was, he never got anything else.
I mean, kayfabe, I'd give him like a 6, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think he won a lot. 6 wrestler on the dot.
That sounds exactly right. Hold on. Championships and accomplishments. WWE. You are completely right.
Yeah, he never won anything in WWE.
He was WCCW television champion.
One of the best promos, though.
Yeah.
You knew how to tell a story in the ring, too. Let's look at that blindfold match. Toxic Trent. The challengers for each title match magically get injured and cannot compete at WrestleMania. Who do you replace them with? Also, yes, I've wrestled and beat Adam Mayhem, but it wasn't for the title. He was too scared to put it on the line. All right, then. So all the challengers for the title matches get hurt. So we need a new opponent for Brock Lesnar. Who is it? Finn Balor. He goes over.
Wait.
Demon Balor, sorry.
Okay, so the man Balor fights Lashley, and then Demon Balor steps in for Brock?
Steps in, fights Brock. He wins.
The challengers for each title.
Challengers for each title.
Who has the title right now?
Brock.
Brock has the title.
Yes, so Finn is a challenger.
For
Demon
Seth.
Balor.
For Seth. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Who replaces Becky? You can't really replace Becky.
Asuka.
There you go.
Asuka.
Who replaces Kofi? Big E?
Oh, yeah, you'd probably go with another member of the New Day, huh? Yeah, Big E.
Who replaces... What's the U.S. title match?
Ray.
Oh, who replaces Ray? Andrade. Mustafa.
Yes. Mustafa
Ali.
Yeah.
Aaron Schmida, is there an unhyped feel-good moment you foresee at WrestleMania? For example, Kurt Hawkins winning the Andre Battle Royal.
They haven't talked about him or his streak in a long time. So I'm not sure that's going to happen with Kurt, but I know you just said that's an example. An unhyped feel-good moment. Some sort of celebration with Ray's child, Dominic.
Mm-hmm.
But he celebrates with Samoa Joe after turning heel on his dad.
Yes, there you go.
There you go. Is that really a feel-good moment?
Jamie Devlin, what match, if asked by WWE, would you book for WrestleMania? You can't use anyone who's already booked on this year's show. So, Asuka versus Charlotte. No, she's already booked. Asuka versus somebody for...
Asuka versus The Undertaker.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
Toss John Cena in there, too.
Asuka wins. Justin Brooks. What wrestler that never worked for WWE would you have liked to have seen wrestle for them? He gives the example of New Jack. That'd have been interesting.
Nigel McGuinness.
Oh, wow. What a great answer. I can't top that. Colt Cabana, but as Colt Cabana.
Mm-hmm. Zack Sabre Jr., but his heel, Zack Sabre Jr.
Yes! Kota Ibushi, but beyond the Cruiserweight Classic.
Yeah.
That's still crazy that he was in that.
I know. It's not crazy. He put on incredible match after incredible match. He is one of the best. Mr. Sinister, a couple weeks back, the dirt sheets were saying the WWE wants to make the top 3 female superstars Becky, Charlotte, and Lacey Evans.
Yeah, that was weird.
Did Vince forget about Asuka? Is she truly buried even before she lost the title this past Tuesday? Thoughts?
Time will tell.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to admit, Shinsuke's buried at this point, isn't he?
Yeah. He might not even be at Mania. I mean, he'll probably be in the Battle Royal, but
yeah,
it's not a given.
Meltzer on the radio, I think, said he was checked, or maybe it was in the newsletter, said that Shinsuke is checked out and that he's just there to surf and spend time with his family, and that's why he's still in the WWE. But I don't know. It also kind of sounds like you can say that about half the people in WWE.
I know.
You know,
that's such a bummer, man. All these guys. I understand not everybody can be a main eventer, but you can at least come up with interesting storylines. Anybody on the roster now has a possibility of making a lot of money for the company and therefore themselves.
Mm-hmm.
If given an opportunity.
I wonder if with Shinsuke, I don't know. You always have to wonder about somebody's motivations. If it's true that he came to WWE for a schedule and for matches that were easier on him,
not his body, yes,
then is he the kind of guy? Maybe he feels that, hey, I understood that creatively speaking, it wasn't going to be the bee's knees, and I had everything I could do. I did everything I wanted to do in New Japan. Now I want some me time. I want some family time. Maybe that's all he wants.
Maybe.
Maybe he doesn't need to be top guy.
Well, here's the thing, though. If his contract expires,
he should be.
He goes to All Elite.
Top guy.
I know they said they're going to be a touring brand, but they're not going to have as many days with WWE. He can spend more time with his family, more time surfing.
Yeah, I'll throw this out there though. I don't know. I mean, you could be right. If it's a matter of I just want to get paid, and with All Elite's wrestling style is probably going to be more akin to New Japan than it is
I don't
WWE.
think it's going to be that far. I don't think it's going to be as full bore as New Japan is all the time.
I think it's going to be more like New Japan
than it is WWE. Yeah, I agree with that.
But it should be, theoretically, it should be a much lighter schedule.
Yeah, it should be. And also, I would think, given how they present themselves to be very wrestler friendly, if Shinsuke went to them and said, I like everything I'm hearing here, I just need to dial it back so it doesn't take as much toll on my body, you tell me they wouldn't accommodate that?
They probably would.
To get a star of his magnitude? Heck yeah. If he says, I can give you my all 2-3 shows a year.
Mm-hmm.
No limitations. Otherwise, I kind of have to cruise a little bit. Just keep my body in good shape.
Yeah. It all depends on if they think that he's worth the same money that WWE is spending on him.
Mm-hmm. Well, WWE probably thinks it's worth to spend whatever they need to spend on him to keep him away from all of it.
Yeah.
So it depends if he just wants security or if he wants to do something interesting. Soul FGC, you mentioned lasting images and dream scenarios in 4 Horsemen versus 4 Horsewomen on your SmackDown review. What ghost of AJ's past can return or debut to haunt him?
You know what's crazy? I was thinking about this the other day. How much different would what we were talking about these months be if Tony Khan wasn't such a fan of wrestling? I would, because they would have signed.
Probably.
They probably would have signed. And everything like that would have been, whatever angle that is, probably would have been. I wonder if that would have been the main event.
Oh, maybe.
That could have been the thing that sidelines Ronda, Becky, Charlotte. Maybe. I don't know.
Depending what the story was.
Yeah.
Alex Foster, can you guys name any underappreciated wrestlers that are probably incredibly happy in WWE?
Oh, that's a good question. So in my, because that's what my go-to always is there have to be some out there who are like, man, I'm just happy to get this paycheck. I don't really care what they do with me or what they don't do with me. And who would those people be?
Well, I mean, just based on, if Nakamura, all he cares about is spend time with his family and surfing. He might be content and not unhappy.
Who's incredibly happy and underutilized? Who's going to be in that Andre the Giant Battle Royal? You think Braun's incredibly happy right now? You don't think so? You don't think he's happy doing
No, I think he's happy. Incredibly happy. He's different than happy.
Yeah, who's underutilized and overwhelmingly happy? Is Bobby Lashley incredibly happy? He's not underutilized. He's Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah.
Is Elias incredibly happy? He's got to be, right?
He seems happy. What about incredibly happy?
Be super happy. Is Titus O'Neil incredibly happy?
He's happy.
He seems like a pretty
Because I think
happy
WWE
guy.
gives him a platform to do some of the other things that he wants to do.
The charity stuff and the
No, Dana Brooks not happy. She said she almost walked out.
True. True.
Definitely no Anderson and Gallows aren't happy.
R-Truth seems to be an incredibly happy person.
I wouldn't say he's underutilized, though. He just dropped the U.S. title.
After a long time of doing nothing, he's probably back to doing a whole lot of nothing.
Potentially. As good as answer as anything, though.
Titus O'Neil, incredibly happy, underutilized. We're going to end on this one.
All right.
Boy, we talked a lot this episode.
Yeah, we talked a lot about that first story.
Yeah. Gunnar Stahl. How come sometimes when I poop, the poop disappears in the toilet? Who took my poop?
Toilet did.
The toilet goblin. I don't know if people know this or not, but I recently had to replace my toilet. Or no, I'm sorry, I had to replace the seal.
The wax seal.
When you lift up the toilet, take the toilet off, there's a hole and a goblin resides down there. I'm like, oh, it's a poo goblin. What are you doing, mate? Like,
It's Holiday Harry.
where are you from? Ooh, Essex. Oh, do you know Waymaker? Oh, you see that lad with the joint head? Oh, man. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. We appreciate it. Till next time, we'll talk to you guys later.
Goodbye.
Be a part of Going In Raw today at patreon.com/Steve and Larson. Starting at $1 a month, you can enjoy Going In Raw ad-free, gain access to the daily 30-minute Going In Raw post-show, exclusive merchandise, and so much more. Support Going In Raw today. Click the link in the description.